Saltbox. Dating back to colonial New England, the saltbox has a steeply pitched roof that slopes down to a shorter rear, giving it a tall front and a low back. Early settlers used this shape to handle snowfall, and the asymmetry created extra interior space without adding a second floor. Saltboxes usually feature a central chimney, small windows, and simple wooden siding, reflecting their no-frills origins. Cape Cod. Another iconic New England style, the Cape Cod is a small, symmetrical house with a steep gabled roof and a central chimney. The front door often sits in the middle, flanked by evenly spaced windows. Traditional Cape Cods have shingle siding to handle harsh coastal weather. Interiors are cozy, mirroring the modest, efficient colonial spirit. Acadian. Primarily found in parts of Louisiana and Mississippi, Acadian houses trace their roots to French settlers adapting to subtropical climates. They often feature steep-pitched roofs to shed heavy rainfall, along with generous porches to catch breezes and provide shade. Simple rectangular layouts, raised foundations, and minimal exterior ornament reflect practical construction methods. The result is a humble, often charming home that fuses French heritage with Gulf Coast realities. Antebellum. Primarily found in the South before the Civil War, antebellum architecture includes large plantation houses with columns, balconies, and broad porches to tackle the heat. Interiors can be formal, with high ceilings and symmetrical layouts. These mansions typically display Greek Revival or Federal influences, framed by sweeping gardens and moss-draped oaks. Though grand, they carry a complicated historical context. Mill house. Built for textile or industrial workers from the late 19th into the early 20th century, mill houses are small, straightforward homes, usually found in rows or clusters near factories. Their designs focus on affordability and function, with basic rectangular footprints, steep roofs, and modest front porches where laborers could unwind after long shifts. Though unadorned, these residences shaped entire mill towns, creating tight-knit neighborhoods centered around local industry. Foursquare. Widespread in the early 1900s, the American Foursquare is known for its boxy shape, 2.5 stories, and a hipped roof topped by a central dormer. The wide front porch is supported by robust columns. Interiors have a straightforward 4-room layout per floor, blending practicality and craftsman-inspired touches. The style spread rapidly thanks to pattern books and mail-order kits. Bungalow. An early 20th century favorite, the bungalow typically has a single story, or 1.5, a low-pitched roof, and a front porch with square or tapered columns. Interiors often feature built-ins and exposed beams, hinting at craftsman roots. Found in Florida, California, and beyond, bungalows marry cozy scale with handcrafted charm, giving homeowners a small but character-rich home. Richardsonian Romanesque. Named after architect Henry Hobson Richardson, this late 19th century style emphasizes heavy stone walls, rounded arches, and robust towers or turrets. Windows and doorways often have deep curved openings with carved details echoing medieval or classical motifs. More common in public buildings, a few residential examples exist for a dramatic, fortress-like presence. Townhouse. Though more a housing format than a style, townhouses or row homes line up side by side in dense urban environments, sharing walls. Brownstone fronts with raised stoops are typical in cities like New York or Boston, while brick row homes define neighborhoods in Philadelphia or Baltimore. Narrow footprints, multiple stories, and small back gardens or patios help save space without sacrificing comfort. Log cabin. Dating back to frontier days, log cabins use stacked logs with interlocking corners, steep roofs, and porches to repel bad weather and capture breezes. The Appalachian variety often has a single chimney and an optional dog trot passage through the middle. Modern log homes keep the rustic appeal but may add larger rooms and contemporary amenities. Pueblo Revival. Rooted in adobe construction, Pueblo Revival features thick stucco walls, rounded parapets, and projecting wooden beams known as vigas. Territorial style, a related form, has straighter edges and brick coping on parapets. Popular in New Mexico and the Southwest, these homes blend indigenous, Spanish, and Mexican influences, pairing earthy exteriors with sun-baked landscapes. Coastal. Found along shorelines, these houses elevate living areas to mitigate flooding and capture sea breezes. Architecture varies from stilted cottages in the Carolinas to Key West bungalows awash in bright colors. Broad porches, big windows, and an airy, often pastel palette define a relaxed, vacation-like vibe suited to salty, humid climates. Floridian. Blending Mediterranean revival, Art Deco, and climate-specific features, Florida homes often feature stucco exteriors, tile roofs, and breezy layouts to catch ocean winds. Large screened porches or lanais help with insects and heat, while pastel hues keep the look light. Waterfront spots may have docks or palm-lined gardens for a casual, sunny lifestyle. Anglo-Caribbean. Common in coastal or tropical zones, Anglo-Caribbean houses mix British colonial forms, often symmetrical with pitched roofs, with Caribbean elements like shutters, wraparound porches, or bright pastel colors. Designed for heat and humidity, these homes pair airy interiors with shady verandas, resulting in a relaxed yet graceful style. Chateau. Drawing on French castle influences, the chateau style often features steep roofs, turrets, ornate stonework, and decorative flourishes reminiscent of European nobility. Facades may include carved detailing around windows and doors, while interiors highlight grand foyers, formal layouts, and a regal sense of space. This blend of old-world grandeur and American home building results in a romantic style that stands apart from more familiar revival forms. Dallas style. Not an official label, this term refers to large suburban homes in Texas that mix motifs from ranch, Tudor revival, and Mediterranean. Brick or stone exteriors, half-timbered gables, and arched windows often appear. Interiors favor open-concept layouts and high ceilings for hot summers. The result is an eclectic Texan blend echoing a big is better philosophy. L.A. Dingbats. These mid-century apartment buildings in Los Angeles typically have a boxy upper floor supported by a carport beneath. Facade details might include starbursts or geometric tiles. Built quickly during LA's post-war boom, Dingbats are budget-friendly but visually distinct, epitomizing a kitschy SoCal aesthetic. Split level. A popular mid-century suburban layout, split levels divide living spaces across multiple half-floors joined by short staircases. Bedrooms might occupy the upper level, while a family room lies below. Large front windows highlight horizontal lines reminiscent of modernist influences. This design suits sloped lots and separates formal from casual living areas. Raised ranch. A variant on the ranch house, the raised ranch puts the main floor above a partially below-grade lower level. From the street, it appears as a single story atop an exposed foundation. Commonly, garages and bonus rooms fill the lower space. It preserves a low profile while adding extra square footage on modest footprints. MazPro. Linked to post-war suburbs, MazPro housing uses standardized designs for rapid construction and cost savings. Minimal Cape Cods, ranches, or split levels might be built in large quantities by developers. Although criticized for uniformity, these mass-produced homes allowed countless Americans to afford suburban living, epitomized by places like Levittown. Levittown, an iconic example of mass-produced housing, Levittown houses were built from the late 1940s to 1950s, offering simple Cape Cod or ranch plans for returning GIs and young families. Although plain, they symbolize post-war prosperity and the rise of the cookie-cutter neighborhood. Their impact on American suburbia is immense. Mobile. More a housing type than a style, mobile homes or manufactured homes are factory-built and transported to a site. Trailer parks group these homes for cost-effective living, often at the expense of design variety. Modern park models may include modern layouts, blending affordability with some measure of style. Neo-Mansard. Inspired by Second Empire, Neo-Mansard houses apply a mansard-like roof onto a rectangular structure, sometimes adding dormers. Common in 1960s to 1970s suburbs, they mimic a French flair on a budget, leading to quirky, semi-luxury outcomes. Decorative eaves and broad roofs add to the faux chateau ambiance. Usonian. Frank Lloyd Wright created Usonian homes as affordable, single-story houses for middle-class families, focusing on open plans, horizontal lines, and harmony with nature. Carports replaced garages to cut costs, and simpler materials kept them accessible. These designs influenced modern ranches and remain admired for their unity with the outdoors. Contemporary. Distinct from modern's historical movement, contemporary shifts with the latest tastes and technology. Designers often use open floor plans, innovative materials like reclaimed wood or steel, and large spans of glass. Sustainable features such as solar panels or green roofs appear frequently. Unlike modern, contemporary constantly evolves. Barndominium. A growing rural trend, barndominiums convert barns or barn-like metal shells into residences. Interiors can lean upscale or stay rustic, typically featuring open spaces, tall ceilings, and exposed rafters. They merge agricultural roots with modern amenities, appealing to those who like farmhouse aesthetics but want something bigger. Minimal traditional. Popular from the 1930s to the post-war years, minimal traditional homes are stripped-down, single-story dwellings that bridge the gap between earlier craftsman cottages and the later ranch. They usually feature simple roof lines, minimal or no eaves, small front porches, and limited ornament. Their compact footprints and understated design reflected the need for affordable housing during the Depression and early post-war era, while still providing a comfortable, practical layout for growing families. Storybook. Sometimes called fairy tale or Hansel and Gretel cottages, these whimsical homes appeared in the 1920s and 1930s. Steeply pitched roofs, crooked chimneys, wavy shingles, and uneven silhouettes give them a fantasy air. Found in certain Hollywood neighborhoods, they add a magical flair to everyday streets. Tiny. Less a historical style and more a modern choice, tiny homes adopt extremely compact footprints, sometimes under 400 square feet. Despite limited space, clever layouts and built-in furniture enable sleeping, cooking, and daily life. Some rest on trailers for mobility, catering to those seeking minimal living expenses, a smaller footprint, or simplified lifestyles. Shotgun. Found primarily in the South, especially in Louisiana, the shotgun house is narrow and rectangular, with rooms arranged in a straight line from the front door to the back. Some folklore claims a shotgun blast could travel from one end to the other without hitting a wall if all doors were aligned. Typically raised slightly above ground to handle flooding, these modest homes often have front porches for socializing and catching breezes. The style is simple and functional, but it remains culturally iconic in many southern neighborhoods. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then watch the first part if you haven't already. I will post the link in the description. Also, be sure to like and subscribe.